And welcome. I'm Bill Maley, Brighton Town Supervisor, and I'm pleased to have you all here for tonight's May 8, 2019 meeting of the Brighton Town Board. As always, we welcome public participation, whether you're here in the room or not. One of the things we do to make sure that is possible for everyone is we are now interpreting sign language ASL interpretation for all of our town board meetings, and welcome Jordan and Susan, who are going to be interpreting tonight's meeting for us. Before we get started, we'll start with the pledge, and I'll ask Councilmember Warner to lead us in the pledge to the flag.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Chris. Just a couple of announcements real quickly. In case of an emergency, you will hear the town hall emergency alarm system. If you hear that alarm, please exit this auditorium immediately, either through the exit door to my right, and if you take that door, turn right, go down the stairs, out the rear door of town hall and away from the building. Or you can leave by the two double doors in the rear of this room marked with the exit signs. If you go through those doors, go through the lobby, out the main front door of town hall, down the front steps, and again, away from the building. As always, we do broadcast our town board meetings both on Spectrum Cable Channel 1303, and we live stream on our YouTube channel. Now, if you're watching us live tonight on Spectrum Channel 1303 and you experience technical difficulties with either the audio or the video of the broadcast, please contact Spectrum at 756-5000. Again, that's 756-5000. We'll be starting in with the open forum in just a moment. But we've got a proclamation here first. I'm going to go up to the podium. Our first proclamation tonight is in honor of Emergency Medical Services Week, and I will be presenting this proclamation to Brighton Volunteer Ambulance at their open house on May 19th. Their open house will be from 1 to 4 that afternoon, and the presentation ceremony will be at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Whereas the town of Brighton is committed to the safety of our citizens and recognizes that emergency medical service are a necessary public service. And whereas the members of EMS teams are ready to provide life-saving care to those in need 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, dramatically improving the survival and recovery rates of those who experience sudden illness or injury. Whereas the town of Brighton joins with countless other communities across the nation in support of Emergency Medical Services Week and the theme, EMS Strong, Beyond the Call, acknowledging that EMS has grown to fill a public health gap by providing out-of-hospital care, including preventative medicine and follow-up care. And whereas today we honor Brighton Volunteer Ambulance, which has served the town of Brighton since 1986 by providing the highest quality EMS care and supporting the community with short-term medical equipment loans, training classes, blood pressure screenings, and group presentations. And whereas, whether career or volunteer, BVA workers engage in thousands of hours of specialized training and continuing education to enhance their life-saving skills for the benefit of all the people in Brighton. Now therefore be it proclaimed that I, William W. Maley, Brighton Town Supervisor, and all of the members of our Town Council do hereby recognize May 19th through May 25th, 2019 as Emergency Medical Services Week and commend Brighton Volunteer Ambulance, for their unfailing commitment to quality service and helping people in their moment of greatest need. The proclamation is signed this 8th day of May in the year 2019 by myself and by all of the members of the Brighton Town Board. And I know we all share the sentiments of this resolution. Brighton Volunteer Ambulance, just like all of our public safety providers that serve the town of Brighton, are an essential element of the high quality of life that we enjoy here in Brighton. And I'm very pleased to be able to honor Emergency Medical Services Week starting on May 19th. We have another proclamation, and I'm going to ask Town Clerk Dan Amon to join me at the podium, please. You may have thought we forgot this, but the week of May 5th through May 11th is Municipal Clerks Week, and we got one of those. Town Clerk Dan Amon. And so I am very pleased, Dan, that the town board will be issuing this proclamation to you. Whereas the office of the municipal clerk is a time-honored and vital part of local government and exists throughout the world. Whereas in Brighton, the office of town clerk provides the professional link between citizens, local governing bodies, and agencies of government at all levels. And whereas municipal clerks pledge to be ever mindful of their neutrality and impartiality, rendering equal service to all, and supporting the proper administration of democracy. Whereas this week marks the 50th anniversary of Municipal Clerks Week, celebrated the first full week of May and first inspired and promoted by the International Institute of Municipal Clerks, a nonprofit professional organization with members in the United States, Canada, and 15 other nations. And whereas in honor of this special week, we are pleased to highlight the excellent work of the Town of Brighton Clerk's Office and to pay tribute to our own town clerk, Daniel Amon, whose dedication to providing quality services, modernizing records management, and supporting the work of this town council makes him a vital partner and worthy colleague in Town Hall. Now therefore be it proclaimed that I, William W. Maley, Brighton Town Supervisor, and the members of our Town Council do hereby proclaim May 5th through 11th, 2019 as Municipal Clerks Week in the town of Brighton, and proudly recognize Daniel Amon, Town Clerk and Receiver of Taxes of the town of Brighton, for his contributions to the smooth functioning of town government. And this proclamation is also signed the 8th day of May, 2019 by myself and by all of my colleagues, your colleagues, the members of the Brighton Town Board. You want to, yeah, let's, yeah, maybe we should get out from behind.
Bill, if I might just add to that, although this is an opportunity because of the Municipal Clerks Week to honor Dan, it just gives us really an opportunity to just really appreciate the work that Dan does. It's been my pleasure, 7.5 years working out of Town Hall, and there's never been a time that I've been in that clerk's office or talked with Dan, and he has not, to me, reflected the purpose of that clerk's office, which is service. How best can he serve the members of this community? How can he make service better? How can he save money in the clerk's office? And it's just been, I really very much appreciate all the work you've done, Dan.
Thank you, Chris.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Well, I would be remiss to not, really share this. This is really, my staff. I try to do as much work at the counter as I can and help out, but, all these things that all the work you guys do often requires paperwork on the back end, and I'm often doing things to help support you from that part of it. And when I'm not able to be at the counter, my staff does a fantastic job of helping the public, and frequently get comments back from emails and just comments out and about in town thanking me for work that the staff has done. So, for my deputy, Dave Marcus, my deputy receiver, Peggy Lull, two part-time folks, Kathy Masters and Melanie Ryan, who job share as part of that cost savings that you're talking about, Chris. And then two folks at the reception desk, which also falls under my purview as well. Sandy Handley and Lisa Diaz all, I think, do a really good job of reaching out and connecting with people and making sure they're getting the help that they came into the building looking for. So thank you all for this. I appreciate it. Make sure and share it with staff tomorrow.
And really, just to follow on with what you said, Chris, we have a comment box in Town Hall, and I think it's fair to say that overwhelmingly, the comments that we get reflect invariably a positive feedback from the town clerk's office. People come in, don't necessarily know where to go, and sometimes the town clerk's office isn't their final destination. But you really work as an ombudsman. You do provide service. If it's within your purview, you do it. If it's not, you make sure they are walked down, and whomever it is that may be able to help them, someone else here in Town Hall, understands why they're here, and people really appreciate that, and the messages come through loud and clear. So thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. As always, we will now continue with our open forum. The open forum is an opportunity for people to come in and speak to the town board. I would note, by the way, that for our regular business portion of the meeting, all of the materials are here in the room on the back table. The same materials that we're reviewing online are here in hard copy if anybody wants to refer to them. And if anybody is at home or somewhere else watching us either on YouTube or on Spectrum 1303, you can refer to the town webpage, and all of that same material is available for review on the town webpage. And really, to that end, the open forum is open not only to the people here in the room tonight, but also anybody that wishes to call in. And if you would like to call in to participate in the open forum, the number for doing so is 303-3060. That's 303-3060. If you are deaf, hard of hearing, you may call our TTY line at 784-5205, 784-5205. And we look forward to hearing from you. And again, I would note, you may comment on any matter, whether it is something on tonight's agenda or something else altogether. I would note that, well, we'll leave it at that. So the public open forum is now open. Is there anyone that would like to address the board during the open forum? Mr. Shapiro, come on up. If you would, just please state your name and address.
Hello, my name is Joel Shapiro. I've been in the town of Brighton for a couple of more than a couple decades now. And I've been up at this podium with a lot of esoteric crusades or things that kind of like are offbeat. And my latest one, well, last time I was up here had to do with the opioid issue, how the county is handling it. And it turns out that there's still no plan for a mass opioid outbreak. And I hope that my efforts did instill some ideas in the town and the county. But last March, I happened upon a op-ed in the Democratic Chronicle by a Travis Hyder, who is a CEO of Pandion Corporation, which is a nonprofit here on Winton Road. Very nice digs, very nice offices. And what he does is he represents 17 hospitals. And in a nutshell, he takes all of their combined buying power and uses leverage to get the best deals for whatever they want, be it a paperclip or whatever. And he wrote a op-ed that, Governor Cuomo had the gall, the chutzpah, to even suggest withholding funding from, the Western New York hospitals. And the hospital systems in Rochester stood to lose $3.8 million over 2 years. And he was up in arms. He wrote this op-ed, and he and his fellow lobbyists, they went down to Albany, and they sure set Governor Cuomo straight. And he was able to talk at will, it seems, to the heads and the participants, or the New York State Health Department, or the Health Commission. So, from a personal respect, when I was in Buffalo, I didn't have insurance, and I had to go to the emergency room, and they took like half or whatever it was off of my bill, but I had to pay the rest, and I paid every penny of it, and they even sent, companies after me, Anyway, what bothered me about this was that he was up in arms over 19.4 million, where Rochester's Strong Hospital makes, the latest that I can find is $4,293,221,693. The CEO is Mr. Goldstein. He makes a total of a couple million plus in total compensation. Now the thing is that these hospitals, if you go to Gas Buddy, you can see what the prices of gas is, and it's relatively, you have differentiation, but that differentiation is nothing compared to what hospitals charge. And what I'd like to do is make a big spreadsheet or a database of the different charges that hospitals have to now, per President Trump. He made an executive order. No other president has done this before, so that hospitals have to list their prices in what you call charge masters. Hospitals like to denigrate or dissuade you that these are important numbers, but believe me, they are. They're the basis of how much they say a hospital says it needs to be received for the various services that they administer. Now, I did some searching of these charge masters, and it looks like, okay, if you go to I'm sorry, I have it all set here. If you go to Rochester General and get a zoster vaccine, it'll cost you, top price, $677.35. That's what Rochester General says. They need in compensation to give you a zoster vaccine. If you, within the same hospital system, I'm going to get to my point real fast. If you go to their Unity Hospital, it'll cost only $511. So you're telling me that Rochester General costs $677.35 and Unity Hospital costs $511 and Strong costs $386.69. So if you go into any of these hospitals and you don't have insurance, they will knock off a certain price, but the rest of it, you have to pay those varying prices that are coming out of thin air. So what I want to do is I want to reconcile. I want to, and this is where I need the help maybe of my fellow citizens or anybody else that maybe is viewing this, or I'm going to put a web page online to help me achieve this goal of that big spreadsheet with all these CPT codes. Well, the CPT codes are what reconciles all the different procedures. So some hospital can say zoster vaccine, vaccilla, zoster vaccina, whatever. You can't go and make comparisons if all the descriptions are different from hospital to hospital. But what makes the like Rosetta Stone, or what makes it all tangible, is something called a CPT code, which is the current procedure codes. Now, what I wanted to do was I called up Albany, and I said, can I have Mr. Gottfried, who's the head, Assemblyman Gottfried, can he make a proclamation, either way, saying he would endorse hospitals' mandatory CPT codes or not? And I got the runaround from Albany. I don't have the lobbying power that Mr. Hyder does for, if there's a couple $1 million that is being withheld, he goes and takes his lobbyists. So what I was wondering, I don't know how appropriate it is, I was thinking of making a seminar. Maybe I can rent out a room here or in the library. But I just wanted to see if anybody would be interested in my idea of getting all of these charges in something that you can readily compare. This is the intent, the spirit and intent of President Trump's, executive order. He made an executive order. I really don't like President Trump, but he does funny things that not funny, but he does things that I find that are really appropriate. Another thing he's gunning for is having Western Europe shoulder the cost of drugs, pharmaceuticals, because we as Americans are paying twice, 3 times what the rest of the world is. The drug companies are really taking advantage of us. But getting back to hospital charges, I think what I just presented right now makes my blood boil. But, like everybody's to each his own. But I think that we have an opportunity. I can't go and tell Rochester General, I can't tell Strong, how did you come up with your prices? Why can't you make your prices lower? All we can do is list them. And the opportunity for me to do that, it seems I can't do it myself. I don't have enough power as one man. But hopefully somebody hearing me might say that's a really good idea, might have some ideas how I can proceed. I hope I made myself clear. I'm not really good at public speaking, I'm much better at writing. But I stated my case, my objectives, and I hope somebody out there might try to help me. And I'm not asking for money. The last thing I'm asking from anybody is any kind of money, believe me. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Shapiro. Is there anyone else that would like to address the board during our open forum this evening? Hearing none, then we will continue on. Can I have a motion, please, to approve the agenda for tonight?
So moved.
Second.
Dan, please call the roll.
Councilmember DeFazio?
Aye.
Councilmember Werner?
Aye.
Councilmember Wild?
Aye.
Councilmember Corrado?
Aye.
Supervisor Maley?
Aye. Robin, a motion to approve and file the meeting minutes for the last meetings?
So moved.
Second.
Discussion? Dan, please call the roll.
Councilmember DeFazio?
Aye.
Councilmember Werner?
Aye.
Councilmember Wilt?
Aye.
Councilmember Corrado?
Aye.
Supervisor Mealy?
Aye. Next, public hearings. We have a public hearing tonight on the proposed appropriation of $16,000 from the Brighton Consolidated Sewer District Equipment Reserve account. Dan, has legal notice been given in this matter?
Yes, Supervisor, legal notice was in the May 2nd edition of the Brighton Fitzer Post.
Thank you. Notice having been given, I declare this public hearing to be open. And between Dan and, between Mike and Paula and Ken, who would like to step up to the plate and talk about why we're doing this?
Well, I'll start.
Okay.
Basically, we had put a dig trailer into the 2019 CIP capital budget. The intent of that trailer was to be paid for out of the reserve fund. To do that, because it's a special district, requires this public hearing. And that pretty much summarizes the whole process there.
Okay, so the public hearing, the 202B, is because we have to get public input on the purchase of the actual piece of equipment that's required by special districts, regardless of how we choose to fund those.
Good. All right, with that having been said, is there anyone that would like to address the board on this public hearing?
If I may, what is a repair dig trailer?
It's just a trailer the sewer department uses when they're out doing sewer repairs, so they keep all their equipment in the dig trailer.
So they call it a dig trailer.
That's it, yes.
There you go. Thank you.
Anything else?
I would just
Ken?
note that the resolution, when you get to it, the resolution before you is also, if you do take positive action, subject to permissive referendum.
Correct.
And will require a notice to be published to that effect.
Okay, is there anyone else that would like to address the board? Hearing none, I declare this public hearing to be closed, and with your newfound knowledge, Chris, would you like to make this motion?
You could just, yeah, an aura of education. A bill in the matter before us, I move that we adopt the resolution before us to appropriate $16,000 from the Brighton Consolidated Sewer District Equipment Reserve Account for the purchase by the Brighton Consolidated Sewer District of a repair dig trailer pursuant to New York State Law, Section 202B, and adopt the resolution before us.
Second.
And again, as Ken noted, that resolution is explicitly subject to permissive referendum. We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, Dan, please call the roll.
Councilmember DeFazio?
Aye.
Councilmember Werner?
Aye.
Councilmember Wilt?
Aye.
Councilmember Corrado?
Aye.
Supervisor Mealy?
Aye. Thank you, everybody. Communications. Can I have a motion to receive and file all of the communications this evening?
So moved. Second.
Couple things in particular I want to note. The first one is great news, and that is that we will be receiving a grant under the Community Development Block Grant Program, the CDBG program, in the amount of $65,000 as part of our plan to construct sidewalks along French Road to improve access for students getting to French Road School from Eastbrook and the other condominiums and apartments and homes that are in that area. This is going to be a multi-year project, but this is a great assistance to us in getting the project built. Also of great assistance is that correspondence indicating that a Comida pilot agreement on a building at 180 Sawgrass Drive has now terminated, and that will, going forward, be fully taxed by the town. We had a meeting week before last with various representatives of the university And you have correspondence here from Peter Robinson, who is Vice President of the Office of Government and Community Relations, indicating their commitment shared with the town to alternative modes of transit, to a potential grant application for a multiversity trail project, and we will continue to have discussions with the university about the things that they can do to help us with traffic concerns. As the university grows, more and more traffic is coming through Brighton. There have been some things already to help, but they're expressing their willingness to continue to work with us to do more, and that's a great thing. Most importantly is a great letter from Mrs. Denby's sixth grade students. I visited 2 classes of hers at 12 Corners Middle School, and we talked about, it really was a great project. I think I may have mentioned it at the previous meeting. The kids, the 6th graders had worked with 4th graders at French Road and 2nd graders at Council Rock, really on a common project. They were all excited about the fact that the town had, oh, actually, this was a different, actually. That, I did talk about that one. This was really an Earth Day and a climate smart discussion, talking about what the town has been doing relating to climate change. We talked about our climate smart community certification, talked about buying land, talked about the project on Monroe Avenue. They asked some great questions, and really we talked about what they can do. One of the really important parts of the conversation is what they can do, what a 6th grader can do. And, I asked them, one of the things I asked them, particularly apropos today, because it is National Walk Bike to School Day, and I asked these kids, how many of you rode your bikes, or how many of you walked to school today? And a bunch of them raised their hands, and I said, you've already done something today. You've already, by walking to school, you're reducing the carbon usage here in Brighton, and you're acting as role models for your colleagues. But even smaller things, I reminded them, their mother or their father has probably bugged them, reminded them to turn off the lights in their room, right? Every single hand went up when I asked them whether they had turned out the lights in their bedroom that morning, before they left for school. And I said, every one of you, just something simple like that, has done something for climate change. So it really was a way of telling them they've already started, and no matter what your age, you can do something. We're fortunate here in the town. We're doing a lot of things, and we're going to keep doing those things. But every 6th grader, every kindergartner, and every 45-year-old can do something in a small way, maybe in a bigger way, to improve our efficiency as a community, reduce our carbon usage, reduce our carbon footprint, and that's a great thing. So these kids wrote me back, and it's always great to hear from them. So, with that, we have a motion to receive and file all of those communications and some others. If there's no further comments, Dan, please call the roll on that motion.
Councilmember DeFazio?
Aye.
Councilmember Werner?
Aye.
Councilmember Wilt?
Aye.
Councilmember Corrado?
Aye.
Supervisor Mealy?
Aye. Our committee reports next. Robin, Community Services.
Thanks, Bill. The Community Services Committee has not convened in the intermeeting time period since our last town board meeting, but I did just want to highlight some events that we have upcoming. The first of which, of course, this weekend is Brighton Annual Clean Sweep. That will start right here at Town Hall at 9 a.m. and we'll kick it off here. You'll get your cleanup assignments, pick up your t-shirts, and hopefully have some coffee, juice, a little snack to get you going. From 9:30 to 11:45, we will clean up our parks and streets and trails, and then we will reconvene over at French Road Elementary School at 11:45 for lunch. And again, I want to thank our generous sponsors, Brighton Chamber of Commerce, Brighton Fire Department, the Roselawn Neighborhood, Brighton Rotary, Brighton Teachers Association, a new sponsor this year. The teachers always help us out with the students who participate from Brighton Central School District, but this year they're also a monetary sponsor of the event. Brighton Volunteer Ambulance, Canandaigua National Bank, Brighton Kiwanis, Tri-City Rentals, Donna Matthews Hairstylist, Michael Works, Ontario Hearing, Dollinger and Associates, and Waste Management. So we look forward to hosting you this weekend for our annual event, and let's keep Brighton clean. And in addition to that, I wanted to highlight that our semi-annual electronics recycling and document shredding event will be at the Brighton Highway Department on Saturday, May 18th from 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. And you can look online for the items that we will accept. Again, this year we will not be accepting this cathode ray tube, the CRT, televisions or monitors, and we will not be accepting the larger appliances, but you can bring your microwave. So we hope to see you at that event. Our next meeting of the Community Services Committee will be next Wednesday, May 15th, 2019, at 9:30 a.m. at the Brookside School. As always, members of the public are welcome to attend.
Thanks, Robin. Jason, Finance.
Yes, the Finance and Administrative Services Committee met last Tuesday, April 30th. Each of the items discussed at the meeting appear on tonight's agenda, and there were two discussion items that were presented. The first was with Commissioner of Public Works Mike Guyon regarding the potential of an intermunicipal agreement with the City of Rochester for repaving roads that have a short length across the town of Brighton and end with just a very short length in the City of Rochester. The town of Brighton would complete these types of roads in their entirety and then bill the City of Rochester for the portion of the roads that is in the city. This would assure that the entire roads are completed. And Mike Guyon will return to the FASC with if any such agreement is developed for further review and discussion.
Still working on that.
Still working on that. More to come, more to come.
More to go.
And additionally, we also discussed the selection process for the Community Choice Energy Aggregation Administrator regarding the three proposals that were received and reviewed. There was discussion regarding each of the proposals. Supervisor Seeley from the town of Arundecoit will be setting up a meeting scheduled with all of the participating municipalities. So each of the firms that submitted a proposal can present their proposals to the participating municipalities. And we ask that questions we have from fellow board members regarding any of the proposals for submission to Supervisor Seeley to synthesize for the group should be submitted. I can submit those to Arundecoit. The deadline was originally May 1st. It's been extended actually till Friday, May 10th. So if there are any questions or requests for clarifications, we can try and submit those by the end of this week. And the next meeting will be held on Tuesday, May 14th. We meet at 3:30 in the afternoon here in Town Hall in the Stage Conference Room, and the public is invited to attend.
Thanks, Jason. Christine, Public Safety.
Public Safety has not met since the last town board meeting. The next meeting will be also on Tuesday, May 14th, but bright and early in the morning, 8 a.m. in the lower level meeting room here at Town Hall. The agenda and minutes are published online, as always, and the public is welcome. We do anticipate that the agenda will include an update from representatives from the Brighton Fire District on the progress made to date by the Citizens Committee that is charged with examining the consultant's recommendations for reorganizing and redistributing staffing at Station Number 3 in East Brighton. So it will be a full agenda.
Thank you, and thank you for being a part of that important review process, and we will make sure there's, as you have been doing, real oversight on what happens with that station. Thank you. Chris, Public Works.
Public Works met yesterday, May 7th, and the items we discussed include the winter's farmer market schedule. Mike Guyon, Commissioner of Public Works, had indicated that it might be appropriate to revise the schedule for the project. The initial or current phase includes renovating the shell of the existing block barn, and that's moving along smartly. These improvements, however, will not make the building entirely habitable, and the second phase of the project was to include site work. However, we've had conversations with the Monroe County Department of Transportation that have resulted in a revised access location and parking lot layout. And these would-be revisions have not yet been presented to the public for review, and we wanted to have the time to make them available and receive comments before proceeding to final design. Therefore, we're proposing that Phase 2 be revised to include the remaining interior improvements to the existing barn and make the building habitable. The Public Works Committee discussed the potential uses for the building as well, but additional discussion and brainstorming is warranted. The final phases of the project will include the construction of an annex building and a second building as depicted on the concept plan. We also talked about the Operations Center work hours for our crews, and it was resolved that the four 10-hour workday week would begin on May 13th and continue through the summer season from 6:30 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. Monday through Thursdays. Also, we discussed the chip seal schedule, which is to begin on May 13th and will likely continue for 2 weeks. The roads that are anticipated for chip sealing can be seen on the website. It's very easy to access. Go onto the town website and just put in the word chip seal, and you'll see what roads are slated for chip sealing. Also, we discussed one-way traffic perhaps on Havens Road, which is being reconstructed this year, and the project will likely require that the roadway be temporarily treated as a one-way during reconstruction. And this will likely be one-way in an east to west direction. Also, the Highland Crossing Trail continues to be an exciting item of discussion because it's being completed this year, and Sawgrass and South Avenue trail sections have been completed, and the contractor is currently constructing the trail on Elmwood Avenue. And weather permitting, the Elmwood Avenue portion should be completed this week, and this is a joint project between the town of Brighton and the city of Rochester, and we're very excited that this is going to be completed this year. Also, we discussed the renovation, repair, and painting certification process as part of our building permitting process. We have now implemented that, and where lead paint appears to be present in a building where a building permit is being sought, a third sheet has been added to the building permit application to verify that the contractor has been certified for treatment of lead paint. And this requires a certification by contractors. It has always been required. This is federal law, but our verification of this is new. Our focus as much, however, has been on educating contractors and making the certification making it known to them how easy it is to get this certification and encourage them to do so. Lastly, I reported on some contact I'd had from folks on the east side of Brighton regarding the potential for painting traffic signal control cabinets or boxes. You've seen several others around town that have been painted in the past, and we're always receptive to folks that have interesting designs that would like to be painted on these boxes, reminding folks, though, that generally we've not been able to paint New York State boxes on state roadways, but the county, where they have traffic signals and boxes that control them, have been very receptive. And we're anxious to hear from anybody that's interested. I've also contacted along these lines the New York State Department of Transportation, Kevin Bush, who is the regional director, asking if the state might reconsider their position, and he is taking it under advisement and referring it to his to another department as he was out of town. I've also been delighted to talk with artist Dick Kane in town here, and he does seem willing to paint a box for us, and I've given them a couple of likely targets, and I'm very hopeful Dick will be able to follow through for us. The next meeting of the Public Works Committee will be June 4th at 9:00 a.m. in the downstairs meeting room, and the public is encouraged to attend.
Thanks, Chris. Thank you each of you for those reports. New business, reading and approval of claims. Jason.
Yes, earlier today, I reviewed claims totaling $544,627.78. Notable claims include the Mangel Metzger Bar, Ray Wager CPA, in the amount of $17,950, representing the final payment on the 2018 Town of Brighton financial audit, issuance of reports, and other reviews as contracted. Also to Rochester Asphalt Materials in the amount of $23,030.63, representing asphalt for paving and patching, including paver rental. Also to Sunoco LLC in the amount of $23,827 for the purchase of unleaded fuel for the town's fuel depot, and a portion of that is charged back to the Brighton Fire District and the West Brighton Fire Protection District, Brighton Central School District, and Brighton Volunteer Ambulance for their purchases of the fuel from the town's depot. And also to Unicel Body Company in the amount of $11,246 for the purchase of a stainless steel dump body for small dump truck number 14, which was approved at a previous meeting. The claims all appear to be in order, and I move that they be approved.
Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none. Dan, please call the roll.
Councilmember DePoncio?
Aye.
Councilmember Werner?
Aye.
Councilmember Wilt?
Aye.
Councilmember Corrado?
Aye.
Supervisor Maley?
Aye. Christine.
On the matter of authorizing the bid award to Roman Construction Development Corporation for the 2019 sidewalk repair program in an amount not to exceed $164,573. I move that we adopt the resolution before us.
Second.
The price, unfortunately, has gone up somewhat this year. It's really not, we use the competitive bidding process and the bids come in as they are. So, but we will be moving forward. Mike, when do you expect sidewalk work to begin?
Well, first we have to get the contracts and everything signed, I would say within a month, Bill.
Okay. Good. We have a motion and a second on that. Any further discussion? Hearing none. Dan, please call the roll.
Councilmember DePoncio?
Aye.
Councilmember Werner?
Aye.
Councilmember Wilt?
Aye.
Councilmember Corrado?
Aye.
Supervisor Maley?
Aye. Robin?
On the matter that seeks to amend an agreement with Insight Architecture for unanticipated additional services for the Winter Farmers Market barn renovation in an amount not to exceed $4,945. I move that we adopt the resolution as prepared by the attorney to the town.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Mike, anything you want to add to what's already in your letter?
The change order is required just because of unforeseen conditions within the floor. So Insight had to do some additional engineering, additional structural engineering, and some investigation. And that's what the change order is about.
Further discussion, anyone? Dan, please call the roll.
Councilmember DePoncio?
Aye.
Councilmember Werner?
Aye.
Councilmember Wilt?
Aye.
Councilmember Corrado?
Aye.
Supervisor Maley?
Aye. Chris?
Next item is for authorization for fund balance appropriation in accordance with the 2019 capital improvement program for purchase of two-wheel drive pickup trucks in an amount not to exceed $30,000. So it is
One
two-wheel
pickup truck,
drive
yes.
pickup truck, not to exceed $30,000. I move that we adopt the resolution before us.
Second.
This is actually an item that we had originally anticipated bonding when we developed our capital improvement plan and the budget for 2019. But we took another look. We looked at where our reserve fund levels are in the highway department, and Paula Parker, Director of Finance, made a suggestion, and I thought it was a good one. So for that reason, rather than bonding it, we will pay for that this year, and it'll come out of you know, we've got enough fund balance to do that. I said reserve a moment ago, I meant to say fund balance. So we have that motion from Chris, seconded by Christine. Any discussion on that? Hearing none, Dan, please call the roll.
Councilmember DePonzio.
Aye.
Councilmember Werner.
Aye.
Councilmember Wilt.
Aye.
Councilmember Corrado.
Aye.
Supervisor Mealy.
Aye. Jason, I'm going to have you do these. We have 3 bond resolutions, one noted on the, you know, they're combined as one item on the agenda, but I'm going to ask
Three
that we,
separate
3
motions.
separate motions, starting with the truck.
Okay, with respect to the bond resolution, authorizing the acquisition of 1 6-wheel heavy-duty dump truck with snowplow equipment and 1 6-wheel extended chassis dump truck, stating the maximum estimated cost thereof is $385,000, appropriating said amount therefore, and authorizing the issuance of up to $385,000 in serial bonds of the town to finance said appropriation. I move we adopt the resolution as prepared by bond counsel to the town.
Second.
Any discussion on that? This is anticipated in the CIP and the 2019 budget. Hearing none, Dan, please call the roll.
Councilmember DePonzio.
Aye.
Councilmember Werner.
Aye.
Councilmember Wilt.
Aye.
Councilmember Corrado.
Aye.
Supervisor Mealy.
Aye. Number 2.
Number 2, with respect to the resolution seeking to amend and restate in its entirety a bond resolution of the town dated February 24, 2016, authorizing the town to undertake the construction of the Highland Park Canalway Connector Trail, NKA Highland Crossing Trail, project, estimating that the total cost thereof is $2,614,500, appropriating said amount therefore, and authorizing the issuance of $450,000 in serial bonds of the town to finance said appropriation. I move we adopt the resolution as prepared by bond counsel to the town.
Second.
A little more explanation on this one. As noted, this does amend and restate a bond resolution dating back to 2016 on the Highland Crossing Trail project. At the time, we issued $100,000 in bonds. We anticipated even then that because the estimated full cost of the project really dated back several years, we wouldn't know until we really got into the project what the full cost might really be. This is a project that is a joint project of the town of Brighton and the city of Rochester, because the trail does connect the town and the city. People are very excited about it. There was an engaging Twitter thread that started when someone said, "Hey, I noticed some sidewalk construction on Elmwood Avenue. It looks really wide. Anybody know what they're doing?" And I was able to say, "Yeah, that's part of the Highland Crossing Trail." And we got into, you know, what it involved. But as we've been able to finalize costs and allocate share between the town and the city, and more importantly, receive the funding under the TEP and TIP programs, which are covering the bulk of the cost of this. So we've now been able to refine exactly what we're going to need to issue in terms of bonds, and that new amount will be $450,000, which really means we're going to be issuing $350,000 in new bonds because we have issued $100,000 already. And I hope that made sense. But we have a motion and a second. Are there any questions?
Apologies. The second was who?
No,
Christine.
Chris.
Chris, I wrote down,
Thank you.
you're right, I wrote down
Hardly
Corrado.
endorse it as
I'm
well.
glad I
It was
asked.
Chris Warner. Nothing further. Dan, please call the roll.
Councilmember DePonzio.
Aye.
Councilmember Werner.
Aye.
Councilmember Wilt.
Aye.
Councilmember Corrado.
Aye.
Supervisor Mealy.
Aye, and finally, the third one.
Yes, the next with respect to the resolution seeking to authorize the reconstruction and repaving of Havens Road, stating the maximum estimated cost therefore is $200,000, appropriating said amount therefore, and authorizing the issuance of up to $200,000 in serial bonds of the town to finance said appropriation. I move we adopt the resolution as prepared by bond counsel to the town.
Second.
And again, it's pretty much as stated, it's up to $200,000. We don't expect that it will actually cost that much, but you want to authorize, the full amount, and once we know how much the construction really costs, we'll be able to, adjust the repayment accordingly. And this is for Havens Road off of South Clinton. So we have that motion and second. Further discussion, anyone? Hearing none. Dan, please call the roll.
Councilmember DeFonzio?
Aye.
Councilmember Werner?
Aye.
Councilmember Wilt?
Aye.
Councilmember Corrado?
Aye.
Supervisor Mealy?
Aye. Matters of the supervisor, I guess the one thing I do, I alluded to it, but today is National Walk or Bike to School Day. I know, Christine, you started the morning at one of our
Actually,
schools.
I sent my daughter off representing the Corrado Green household, walking to 12 Corners Middle School. She reports many, many fellow students walking and biking into school where they were able to put their names in a drawing for sweet treats in the afternoon. But Council Rock School has made it Bike to School Week, allowing the grade school children the opportunity to really build that habit of walking and biking to school into their lives. They start out on Monday and go all the way through Friday, and I did get a chance to greet the smallest bicyclists in our school district yesterday, and they were pretty ecstatic about their stickers and signing a banner, and many parents were then carrying bicycles home.
And this afternoon, I was over at Indian Landing School. Indian Landing School located in the town of Brighton, but part of the Penfield School District. So I was joined there by Supervisor Tony LaFountain from Penfield. And it's very much a neighborhood school there in the eastern part of Brighton. So there's an awful lot of kids that live close enough to walk. But they had over 150 bikes parked in their bike racks, and really all over because they didn't have that many spaces in their bike racks. They had some nice festivities at the end of the day in the gym and before everybody went out to go home, and it was great fun. Really appreciate all of those schools. I don't know whether what the other districts exactly were doing, but it was nice to see the Penfield and Brighton portions of the town of Brighton.
Penfield and Brighton represented, Pittsford as well. Jefferson Road School had a great turnout. I see future opportunity for a little friendly competition between the districts, and also the city school district, School 23 in the Park Avenue neighborhood is a big participant in the program. So
Great.
Commitment to biking to school is growing.
Super. So it's, it all fits into what we're doing from a sustainability perspective, and the habits you develop early in life hopefully will stick with you. And as the world is changing, those habits will become the norm. I mean, and that's really what we're all looking for, is the day when, it really is the norm. We don't have to have a day for that, because most kids, and increasingly we're certainly seeing more and more kids walking and riding
And
to school.
adults as well. If I might add two more things, at risk of going too long here, but the Auburn Trail will be a great complement to the biking to school experience that runs right along to Council Rock School. So when that is fully completed.
And the Harley School.
And the Harley School as well, yes. That will make accessibility by bike to those schools much easier.
Yep.
And if you're eager to get started as an adult biking to work, I should note that next Friday, the 17th, is National Bike to Work Day. So get out your bike and get ready to go.
Yeah, that Auburn Trail will do a lot of things, and as everybody knows, we have approved that it be constructed by the developer of the proposed Whole Foods project. It will run from the Pittsford Town line all the way up to Highland Avenue, and it's just one of the many exciting amenities that will enhance that project when it's completed. Matters of the attorney to the town. matters of our award-winning town clerk.
I just want to say I thank the board again for the opportunity to attend the New York State Town Clerks Association training conference. I was at the Hotel Syracuse Sunday through today. I had commuted back and forth on Monday and Tuesday. As always, it's a great chance to meet with, my peers and participate in a number of different training sessions. Always come away with a page of notes to bring back to staff on things, and I'm excited to kind of parse some of what I've learned, some little tweaks that I think we can make, and again, it's always a great experience, so I thank the board for, again, allowing that in my budget every year.
Thanks, Dan. Matters of the board.
Do have some rec announcements as usual. Our summer programs are beginning, registration for our Brighton residents for all summer programming, including summer camps, has begun. And registration for non-residents for all programs begins on Tuesday, May 14th. Spaces in our camps are filling up quickly, so don't wait to secure your spot for summer. And due to construction at numerous Brighton Central School District buildings, our camp programs have had to make some adjustments with regard to our typical offerings. The impacts of ongoing construction for the summer 2019 has led to smaller camp sizes and limited grade ranges at some locations. We've worked hard to make adjustments at all sites where possible to ensure that we have a comparable number of spaces available as years past, but there has been some constriction, so we warn you to register early. It's always our goal to offer the highest quality, consistent programming, but we do have to make adjustments from time to time due to circumstances out of our control. We encourage everyone to check out our newest camp location at Indian Landing School, which Bill mentioned is in the town of Brighton. Excellent. That is located at 702 North Landing Road. It's just a short drive from Council Rock and provides another great opportunity for summer fun. Even though we have begun registration for our summer camp programs, winter and spring programs have ongoing registration at this point. And we would like to remind everyone that there's still plenty of new programs and events starting up with the Rec Department, and we invite the community to see what you've been missing at Brighton Rec. And I want to remind people to join us for our Brighton Farmers Market opening this Sunday, May 12th, on Mother's Day. We will host the annual vine cutting ceremony at 10 a.m. And we look forward to seeing you there at Brighton High School parking lot. And we have some special events coming up. Of course, Monday, May 27th at 2 p.m. at our Brighton Veterans Memorial. We will have our annual Memorial Day celebration. Our Brighton Bike Rodeo, the ever-popular bike rodeo, will be on Sunday, June 2nd at 10 a.m. at the Brighton High School flagpole. And that is something we offer in conjunction with the Brighton Farmers Market. And that is free, but registration is required. Our family spring fling is on Friday, June 7th from 6:30 to 8 p.m. at Buckland Park Lodge. And this is a program that did have some name changes, so please do check your flyers for that newly named event. The registration is $10 per person, and believe it or not, we'll have our Splash into Summer, the opening of our summer pool on Friday, June 21st. 4 to 5:30 p.m. at Brighton Town Hall, and that is free. We encourage you to check out our recreation website and Facebook page for full event details.
Thanks, Robin. One other event I want to make sure people do remember is coming up. School election day will be coming up on May 21st, 2 weeks from yesterday. All 5 of the school districts that serve Brighton have school votes, so whichever district is within the sound of my voice here. It's really important. I was in a conversation earlier today talking about turnout levels. And, a lot of times we focus on how many people, come out for different elections. These are very, very important, the leadership of our school district and, the financing, the program that we talked about for modernization and changes certainly in the Brighton School District. Each district has their own, propositions or elections, but you got 2 weeks, and I really want to encourage everybody to come informed, go to, the Brighton District has a variety of opportunities to learn more about the budget, public ones, or in some cases with groups you might be involved with. Take that opportunity and please make sure you come out to vote. Now, if you live in Brighton, I also want to encourage you to come out as well that same day. The Brighton Kiwanis Club every year holds the Al Lewis Spaghetti Dinner. Al was a longtime member of the Brighton Central School District Board of Education, and at the high school from, I think, starting at 4:30 that evening is the Brighton Kiwanis Club's Al Lewis Spaghetti Dinner. You'll have the opportunity to learn more about some of the great service programs of Brighton Kiwanis, including their Action Club, where they work with the developmentally disabled in our community. And they've done some great things with those folks, and not the least of which is right out behind us here, the Sway Fun glider, the accessible glider that was installed in our playground last year. So have some spaghetti. It's a great deal. You'll see some of your friends and neighbors at Brighton High School on school election day, Tuesday, May 21st. Any other matters of the board? Robin?
I did just want to mention, in conjunction with the school board election, there is a candidate forum tomorrow night, May 9th, 6:30 to 8 p.m. at the Brighton Central School District building. That's 2035 Monroe Avenue. So please come out and learn all the candidates' different positions. So.
Thanks. Any other board matters? Then can I have a motion to go into executive session to discuss a law enforcement investigation matter?
So moved.
Second.
Dan, please call the roll.
Councilmember DePazio?
Aye.
Councilmember Werner?
Aye.
Councilmember Wilt?
Aye.
Councilmember Corrado?
Aye.
Supervisor Maley?
Aye. Thank you, everybody, for being here. I do not anticipate we'll be coming back into open session after the executive session. Our next board meeting will be May 24th at 7 p.m. right here. No, 24th, is that right? 22nd. Yeah, 22nd. 7 p.m. here at Town Hall. Have a great night. We'll see you then.